about some options for taking photos in or around water without worrying about destroying your camera. The first one, super simple. This is this Dissipac cell phone waterproof case. It basically is a glorified Ziploc bag. It's only about $15. It has a clear front and a clear spot in the back for your camera. They make different ones for different phones, but honestly, most Android phones are happy in this, and most iPhones are happy in this because the camera's near the top of the back. It works well to waterproof. As I said, it zips closed. It's got a little Velcro, you roll it over. I have had mixed results with operating the touchscreen underwater. I posted a little teaser on Instagram the other day about it, and one of the first questions someone said is, can you operate your touchscreen underwater? I said, you bet, it works just fine, because in this freshwater here, I didn't have any problems with it. Starting and stopping video, taking some pictures, but in a chlorine pool, I had mixed results. Now, I honestly don't know if it was because freshwater versus chlorine, or just the way that it happened to be laying against the smart screen, but both with an iPhone and an Android, I had pretty poor results underwater. Now, one of the neat tricks you could do if you want something like this, and this really only costs 15 bucks, it's nice not only for taking your phone in or around the pool, but also just the beach to keep sand out of all those little ports, you know, keeping it protected. You could download a time-lapse app, and I'll talk more about that when I talk about the GoPro in a second, but you start a time-lapse app before you put this underwater, because the touchscreen does work just fine above water through this case. And then you have the option to just let it fire shot after shot while you're underwater, pointed it at your friends, have them come under, do silly things, kids. It's a lot of fun. And as I said, 15 bucks. It's not bad. I don't have any worry about it leaking. There was really no fail points. The seams all feel good. And I have another product from these folks that I'm going to talk about in just a second that I put a much more expensive device in, and I've been perfectly happy with it. But let's say you want to get a little bit more serious because, you know, as I said, it's not so easy to control, and you want to dive or go a little deeper or go in rougher conditions, and that would be something like a GoPro. So I've got a GoPro. I actually have it in the older. This is the GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black Edition. I have it in the older housing. I have two of these waterproof housings because I'm working on a project and needed an extra one. It works really well. Video, photos, and as I mentioned with the cell phone case, it has built-in time-lapse and built-in burst modes that allow you to push the button once and get a series of pictures very quickly, or a series of pictures over time, every half second, second to 2 seconds. So that can be a lot of fun playing in the surf. You can get some fun kind of sequences, or just diving underwater and not having to worry about taking pictures all of the time. This is a good bit more expensive than something like a cell phone case. It's $3.99. You can find the older editions or the white and the silver for $2.99 and cheaper. It does have Wi-Fi connectivity, which is nice, but however, one of the things I originally thought I was going to be able to do is stick it underwater on a long monopod without myself having to go underwater and using my phone to see what it could see, compose a picture, and take the shot. However, the 2.4 gigahertz wireless spectrum is completely absorbed by water. And so just about the second this thing is completely submerged, you lose connectivity to it. Sometimes you can get a little lucky and right near the surface it will work, but further down you are going to lose your Wi-Fi connectivity. So just keep that in mind. But super simple operation with just a couple of buttons to press. Very rugged feeling. You know, you've seen the video, or maybe you haven't, where it's been thrown or dropped out of a skydiving airplane, tumbling through the sky for thousands and thousands of feet before landing in a pig pasture where it's tried to be eaten by a pig. It survived that. I think it's going to survive your trip to the pool or to the beach. Very nice waterproof housing seal, works well. Downside, as I said, is it's starting to get a little pricey. You don't have any way to see what the camera sees on the back, but because it offers such a very wide angle of view, incredibly wide for this little camera, it's not as a big deal as it sounds. You can buy an LCD back for it that will give you that ability, but you're working with a larger device then and more expensive. And another downside is battery life. The battery life on these guys is not great. At the highest quality filming, 1080p, faster frames per second, or even 4K at the 15 frames per second, you're going to get less than an hour out of it. and you're going to want to have spare batteries around. It's very easy to pop in a spare battery. I've talked about that in my other videos as well. But really nice because it's so small, goes anywhere, takes really wide angle but great quality shots. And with the ProTune quality, you can set it on ProTune, you can get some shots that are almost raw-like and gives you a little bit of ability to tweak and get them looking a little bit nicer. Now, a step up from all of that is something like this guy. Now, I'm not going to do a full review of this because I did that last summer, but I just want you all to know that I'm still happily using this. This is also from Dissipac, and it is a SLR waterproof housing. Now, there are pros and cons to this, of course. Many of you watch my channel because you own or want to own an SLR or a camera like that to get really good quality. And this is going to give you some of the best quality underwater or above water around the pool than any of these other options, especially since you can shoot raw, really bring out the details. However, it is also in what is basically a glorified Ziploc bag. It's got a seal up top, you roll it over and Velcro it shut. You have a nice glass piece, or plexiglass here to shoot through. And you've got the little holes for operation. But operation is awkward, and because it is air-filled and difficult to get all of the air out, it's difficult to really get underwater with it and dive down without it trying to bob back to the surface. But at the surface or just under, or trying to take those water shots where you're right at the surface, this is a lot of fun. And you know, even though it's in this plastic bag, you do have a fair amount of control over this camera, and the touch screen does work inside here. Right now I've got the Canon 70D in, and the touch screen works. $70, $400, $15. You got a huge range here. One of the things that I'm not talking about is a waterproof camera. I don't own any at the time because, well, I've got these other options to me, so it seems a little silly. But if you don't, there are a ton of good waterproof camera options out there, and I put them somewhere in the range between the GoPro and the DSLR as far as giving you quality. You got to spend about $200 to $400 to get a good one, but you get that LCD screen, you get better battery life, and all of them offer underwater modes that are going to kind of tweak the settings to give you good results in those situations. I'd love to hear what you think is the best, which one of these you would like. For me, most of the time it's the GoPro that I throw into my pack because one, it's small, it's rugged, and I don't have to worry a whole lot. I just have to remember to take an extra battery or two. When I know I'm going to be spending some time around the water and I really want good quality shots, not necessarily under the water, then I'm going to consider something like the Dissipac SLR pack. And they make different size for smaller SLRs, for the mirrorless cameras as well. And it's a good value, and I've now been using this for over a year, and I have to say that it's holding up well, though it does feel like there are a few more points of failure. One of the other nice things about the GoPro, as I mentioned, is you'll be able to stick it on a monopod. It's so light. It has other bits like the head strap, if you want to strap it to your head and paddle out surfing. All of those work really nicely. How about if you just want to protect your camera, you don't want to go underwater, but you're going to spend some time at the beach? Again, last summer, and I'll put a link to that at the end of this video, I talked about using a Ziploc bag. If you want to get a little bit more serious and you're worried that maybe you're canoeing or kayaking and you might go under, or you might have some serious splashing going on, then something like a dry bag is fine. You're not going to be taking any pictures through this bag, but when you're not using it, you can roll this up. It becomes completely waterproof. Your camera is protected in there, and that's a nice option as well, too. I know a lot of people go canoeing and kayaking, especially in the summer months in North America, or just water sports in general, and they're scared to bring along their nice camera because it might get a little bit of splash on it, and a dry bag like that is a simple solution. Pull it out, take a few pictures, put it back in. As I said, leave a comment about which you think is best option for you. I'd love to hear it, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. That means a lot to me. It's an easy way to thank me for my time. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe.